Somebody once said baseball is a funny game. It certainly is. Brewer pitching just took a major league historic just beating this past couple of days. But then Tuesday, everybody looks great, and the Brewers are back on track with their first win. We'll get to all that coming up next in this edition of Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You look at the numbers that the Brewers had given up, and we've gone over it. Their ERA 12 through the first 4 games, nearly through the rotation, 17 home runs. Teams are batting .333 against them. And, you saw the numbers out there, like the worst start by a pitching staff since like 1901. Just some crazy numbers out there. And everybody down on the Milwaukee Brewers, I get it. Oh, this team is terrible. This team stinks. See, I told you, Chuck. Mark Attanasio, it's your fault. Well, what happens? They come back and they pitch a gem with 5 pitchers leading the way and just get the job done. 5-0. Amazing how baseball is, because you look at it and there was no way that the Brewers should have got the job done in that fashion. I mean, their pitching gave you no reason to think that, well, they're going to bounce back and they're going to get a win on Tuesday night and they're going to shut out the Kansas City Royals, especially at giving up double-digit runs in the last 3 games. And a pitcher who was out there making his first ever major league start. Now, he pitched over the weekend in relief and gave up 2 runs against the Yankees. And again, everybody gave up some runs, I feel like, this past weekend against the Yankees and in that first game on opening day against the Royals. But then Chad Patrick comes out when it doesn't even get a quality start, okay, doesn't even go the required innings, 5 innings, to get a win, but so much he provides a big lift for this team in going 4 2/3. I mean, how big was that for Chad Patrick to pitch into the 5th inning? And that's what we're celebrating today, because that's where the Brewers are. Celebrating that the fact that Chad Patrick pitched into the 5th inning, didn't allow any runs. Not like he went 7 or 8 innings, but that he went into the 5th inning. But again, that's where the Brewers were at this point, looking for any glimmer of hope of anybody to give them a start. And I said all while leading up to this game for the last 24 hours, God, if they could only get Chad Patrick to pitch 5 innings, is that possible? I'll take 4 2/3 of shutout baseball. Chad Patrick in front of 300 family and friends from Hebron, Indiana, and from other states they came as well. Packed them in to AmFam Field. I think there was like 600 people at the game. They announced 18,000. Okay, there was not 18,000 at AmFam Field on Tuesday night. And I get it. I mean, 18,000. But 300 family and friends came to see Chad Patrick give this team a much-needed boost. Abner Uribe comes off the suspended list, goes an inning and a third of scoreless baseball, comes in a tough spot, gets out of it. We saw the pump that he does, and Uribe comes in and does the job. Looked like the old Uribe right there. How about that? Piaps, who looked terrible over the weekend against the Yankees, just got hammered. He bounced back and had a solid outing. Koenig, he did his job. He came in there as well. Jared Koenig, I feel like he's getting a lot of work early on. And then Trevor McGill. Haven't seen Trevor McGill in the closer's role because the Brewers can't stay within striking distance of a team, much less need a closer. And Trevor McGill comes in and goes 1, 2, 3 in the 9th inning, gets the save. Classic Brewers victory. Don't score a lot of runs, get enough offense, get some pitching, and get the job done. Kind of like last year's team, where you had a guy come in and do his job on the mound. In this case, you had 5 guys. All 5 of those guys did the work, pieced things together. You had a fresh Uribe. Piamp's somewhat fresh because he didn't pitch since over the weekend. McGill was very fresh, having only pitched a third of an inning against the Yankees, just trying to get some work in over the weekend. Candy got in there, but Chad Patrick did the heavy lifting of 4 2/3. So yeah, celebrating the small victories at this point for the Milwaukee Brewers, and most importantly, getting them into the win column. Getting the win in the win column. And they're 1-0 in night games so far. 0-4 during the day, 1-4 at night. They get back to a day game less than 24 hours later. Well, less than that, less than 12 hours later. They get into a day game, a noon start Milwaukee time. Gotta love those noon starts after playing a night game. So a noon start at AmFam Field, and we'll get to the pitch. And Freddie, they're going to make the return of the rotation already. Already one time through the rotation, Freddie Peralta pitches. We'll get to that a little bit later on here in the show. I thought the defense was also terrific. And when I say a classic Brewer victory, what's a Brewer victory without some flashing some defense out there? Several guys, terrific defensively, all over the place. And that was Milwaukee Brewers baseball yesterday. Get just enough offense, get pitching from everybody picking up the slack, multiple guys, and the Brewers getting terrific defense as well. Led by Chad Patrick, who definitely has earned himself another. You have no choice. You got to pitch him again. Although the Brewers have not announced their starters for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday just yet. It's all TBA against the Reds. Thursday's starter is Cortez, but we don't know who Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you like to think that Patrick is going to throw on Sunday, you would think. And Eric Haas, terrific behind the plate, also a home run in this one. Eric Haas making the start behind the plate, crushed one to left center field, crushed one. And, did a little bat flip there. Always liked Eric Haas. And was talking after the game with the media, and I was down there covering the game, about, he's such a student of the game, goes through every pitch. Tonight he'll sit down after the game, or probably tomorrow, maybe tomorrow morning in the Brewers clubhouse, and I'll go through every pitch of the game he caught. Could be a 12-inning game. Now, he probably doesn't catch 12 innings. Let's say he caught a 9-inning, 10-inning game. He'll go through every pitch, take notes, student of the game. Eric Haas. I love that, man. And he had some history with Chad Patrick, too. They pitched together, pitcher-catcher, for about 3 months down at Nashville last year. About 3 months of the season. So he had a little history with Chad Patrick, but he did his homework. Patrick gave him some credit after the game. And, Patrick was not feeling well. Monday, he did not stay for the game. They sent him home. He was not feeling well. He was sick. And, of course, when we were interviewing him after the game, finding out he was sick, I was kind of, I don't want to catch anything of that. I don't want to, whatever he had, he said he wasn't doing too good on Monday. So you never know. Didn't want to catch anything. So you might see me standing in back of Patrick on those interviews on social media, Adam McCalvey and I think Todd Rosiak. I'm the guy who's standing right in back of Chad Patrick, making sure he's not talking at me. Don't want to get what he had. But I sure thought he pitched a great game, though, and definitely earned himself another start coming up on Sunday. We'll see if the Brewers go with him. I don't think they have any choice at this point. We'll talk about Christian Yelich. Christian Yelich, who's been struggling, but maybe what he did in the 8th inning and get him on a little bit of a roll. We'll talk about that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book for a reason. March Madness, got the NIT that was going on tonight, Major League Baseball. Live betting is the way to go on FanDuel. That's they give you a chance to get in all the action as it's going on. Maybe you like the Dodgers last night. Dodgers were down early against the Braves. Could have got yourself a good number. And, of course, as you know, the Dodgers were going to come back and win, and they stay unbeaten at the season. But if you want to do something like that, FanDuel is the way to go. New customers on FanDuel, $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. $200 extra bucks to use on everything, from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, anything. Pick your favorites, pick the underdogs, live bet, as I said. I think FanDuel is just fantastic in that. But you need to go to FanDuel, FanDuel.com, get in on all the college hoops action, all tournament long, NIT that was going on. And then, of course, the NC2As kick up again on Thursday night. But take advantage of the $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins, and you'll have that $200 right into your account. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Man, we're exploding. We are just absolutely exploding the podcast here. Even though the Brewers are off to a shaky start, man, our subscriber rate has just been increasing here through the first week of the season. Thank you very much. Get us on YouTube. If you're listening to us on the audio side, please subscribe to our YouTube page. Go to Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That alerts you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers. And, of course, our audio platforms, Google, Spotify, Apple. I'm just naming a few, but there's so many places you can get your podcasts on, and we're on all them because we're the #1 Brewers podcast because you great Brewer fans out there. And as I always say, if you see me around at the ballpark, I'll be there all week. And sitting in the stands on Friday, I'll be covering the games all week. But you see me walking through the stands and all that, getting to the press box, by all means, I saw a few more fans tonight. Great, always running into you, saying hello, and appreciate all the support you do here. Give me here on Locked On Brewers, and all our content, as always, is always free. Our Christian Yelich, now 2 for 16 on the season. He's batting .125, but in the 8th inning, hit a leadoff home run that went 429 feet. That's his first home run since July 7th. Now, July 7th, because he was off for the better part of the summer after that because of back surgery. But just the 4th Brewer home run on the year. Yelich, with his second hit, just a blast. And that was a little bit of relief to see that, to be honest with you. To see that he still got his power stroke, and you want to see more of it. Yeah, is he going to hit 38 home runs? I don't think those days are coming back. But the fact that he could just still yank one, and he yanked one. 429 feet, right center field. Love that for Christian Yelich. Hopefully that can get him on a roll. He's 1 for 15 going into that bat, and he connects. Sometimes that's all it takes. And that was great to see Christian Yelich getting that 8th inning home run. 4-0, kicks it up to a 5-0 game. And then plenty of insurance runs there. Bryce Terang had 3 hits. And there's plenty of talk. And Murphy kind of talked. Murphy, when he talks about Terang, and he did after the game tonight, he'll talk about in terms of him being a special player. He has said this so many times over the last 3 seasons, 2 seasons and, the first week of this one, about Terang's a special player, that he's not even as good as he is going to get. Murphy talks very highly about him. I love Terang at second base. I don't want to move him to shortstop. Keep him at second base. Tim Allen made a point tonight on his postgame show. Tim made a good point about Terang staying at second base. For a club like Milwaukee, when you play shortstop, you're a Gold Glover and you put up great numbers. That's going to cost the club a little bit more money as opposed to when you're playing second base, right? Shortstop, the price goes up. for a productive shortstop as opposed to a productive second baseman. Good point, Tim Allen. And Turang, not only because of that, I like him at second base. I always say, why ruin a good thing? Guy's playing Gold Glove second base. He knocked one down tonight, picked it up, threw it over to first base. 3 hits tonight, upping his batting average to 368. Would love to see them buy Turang out of some arbitration years and then just get him long-term. Bryce Turang is the best defensive second baseman in Brewers history. And I've seen them all, from Pedro Garcia through Jim Gantner, through Fernando Vina, through them all. And Bryce Turang is the best defensively. And the game has changed so much since then. But Turang, Murphy says he's going to get much better than this even. He hasn't even hit the tip of the iceberg. Let's lock up Turang long-term. If I was the Brewers and I'm thinking about who my next lockup is going to be, of course it's going to be Contreras. But I'm thinking strongly of Turang. Contreras hasn't been asked about an extension yet. He was asked last year about it. Didn't really want to go there. I haven't heard really anybody mention anything to Turang about a contract extension, but would love to see him long term. That's our guy right there. Didn't really touch on this Monday because we're talking so much about the game Monday night, Tuesday morning, about Savale going on the injured list. So the Brewers are down 3 starters now. Don't know what they're going to do. Don't know what they're going to do. Like I mentioned, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are TBA right now. Savale's spot would be what? It would be on Friday night, right? Savale would be on Friday. The Brewers have not announced what that's going to be as of right now, and who knows? We'll see. I know I don't want to see Elvin Rodriguez get another start, and he would be starting on Saturday. I just don't want to see that. I don't think Elvin Rodriguez is no disrespect, but Elvin Rodriguez shouldn't. He doesn't have the stuff, and I hate to play this card. I've been around this game, covering it for 40 years, and he doesn't have the stuff on a major league level right now. Maybe that's going to come. He's 27 years old. I don't want to see Elvin Rodriguez make another start with the Brewers right now. They may not have a choice. Somebody asked me about Mizorowski, calling him up. ESPN Lacrosse, I was on their radio station today, and John asked me if they would activate or if they would put Mizorowski on the 40-man and maybe bring him up. Good question. I think they fear his command at this point, but I'd love to see Mizorowski on this roster. I would. Until then, he put up in his last outing on Saturday in Nashville, first outing in his last outing. Mizorowski was great, went 5 innings, struck out 7. So we'll see. Good news also for Brandon Woodruff. Simulated game, 3 innings pitched, 51 pitches. So I imagine he's going to make it his next rehab start in Nashville, I would think. But a simulated game, 3 innings pitch. He is hitting all the check marks right now. Woodruff is hitting every benchmark. That's great to see. Now, can the Brewers hold it until, not let this get away until then with their pitching? Until Woodruff, no timetable yet for him, but he's passing every benchmark with flying colors. Checking all the boxes right now. He's checking all the boxes. Simulated game. Got a big ovation on opening day as well. I think Brewer fans appreciate all the work that Woodruff is putting in. And yeah, they would love to have the old Brandon Woodruff come back. What a boost he would be to that rotation. So Bleacher Report has the Brewers, this is as of opening day. And I thought they'd be lower than this even. The power rankings of Bleacher Report, I was kind of looking for power rankings, see where they would have, if anybody had power rankings out after a couple of games. And sure enough, Bleacher Report had it out. Brewers are 16th in the power rankings. That was before opening day. I'm surprised they're ranked that high. After 4 games, I would say the Brewers would have been 30th in my book. But they were 16th in Bleacher Report after Sunday's game. Let's look ahead to Wednesday's game. Freddie on the mound, making his second turn through the rotation. And the Brewers going up against a pretty good pitcher with the Royals. We'll get to all that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Supply House, all you guys who get up really early, and some of you guys who maybe don't get up early, but some of you guys contractors out there, and I got some in my neighborhood. Man, you guys are the salt of the earth, man. Working your tails off, getting the job done, making America spin. Supply House is made for the skilled tradesmen out there. Supply House, whether you're plumbing, HVAC, electrical work, Supply House, the reliable way to order products online. Complete inventory, over 200,000 parts from over 400 of the top brands. You'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. And if you need help with their order, their service department is just great. You're not going to get a recorded line. You're not going to say, leave a message here, nothing like that. You're going to talk to a real person. For trade pros out there, you're looking for that extra edge. You guys out there, you know who you are. The free Trademaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, discounts on every order, thousands of skilled professionals ready to take advantage. Now it's your turn. Supplyhouse.com/TM to join that Trademaster program today. Start ordering plumbing, HVAC, electrical supplies, just a few clicks. Use the promo code HS5, 5% off your order. That's supplyhouse.com, supplyhouse.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Before I get to the Wednesday starters, it was great to see Hoskins back in the lineup hitting against a right-hander. Yeah, I want to see him pitching against. I want to see him up against right-handers, and that was the case. I'm sorry, Lorenzo was a lefty. My bad. He was a left-handed pitcher. I wrote that down when I saw him in the lineup, and I wrote that in the pregame that, man, it's great to see him in. And I was like, wait, Lorenzo's a left-handed pitcher. So the Hoskins would be, well, he should, like I said the other day, whether it's a lefty or righty, Hoskins or an octopus, Hoskins should be in the lineup, but it was a lefty on the hill. And they're facing another lefty coming up on, let me just double check that. Cole Reagans is a lefty. Yes, he is a lefty for the Royals. So Lorenzo and the lefty faced him tonight. And Hoskins got to get back on track, though. He had a great spring training, hit the 6 home runs. He's batting 154. 154. Mitchell did rest. Garrett Mitchell was not in the lineup. Contreras, the DH. That's why Haas did the catching. Contreras is not going to catch every game. In fact, Contreras talked in spring training that he might be getting more days off this year, like no DHing and no catching, just a complete day off. Needs that one. I think you're a catcher. That's okay to take that. But they've been keeping Contreras at the DH spot when he's not catching, and he's batting 125 right now. He's batting 125. Yeah, it's 18,000 out there. 18,000 out at Amfam Field. No way. There was 18,000 out there at the ballpark today. Wednesday, noon start. Love those weekday afternoon games. Although a noon start after a night game that's a quick turnaround. Freddie Peralta gave 2 home runs in a start last Thursday against the Yankees. Cole Reagans, a lefty. Here's a guy who they locked up. They bought him out of a few years of arbitration, signing him to an extension. A guy who they really love. Started 32 games, had an ERA of 3.14. Really good year for Cole Reagans last year. He is making his second start of the year, went 5 innings in his first start, 3 earned runs, 5 hits against Cleveland back on opening day in Kansas City. So young pitcher making his, and he's 27 years old, making his second start, Cole Reagans. But Freddie, keep the ball in the ballpark. And let's have a ball game on Wednesday. Take 2 or 3 from these guys and get to within 2 and 4 on the season. We'll take that. Get the 2 and 4 on the season with the Reds coming in town for a 1st to 4 on Thursday. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to being back out of the ballpark as well. Quick turnaround. Hey, man, thanks for tuning us in, listening. And I know when I drop this late night, I'm like, how many people are watching us late night? But we got viewers in the UK. I hear from you guys in the UK. I've heard from 4 or 5 people who watch us in the UK with the time difference and all that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And always drop me a note on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, FREIMUND, on the YouTube page right here. Drop me a note. Let me know where you're from. I said this in an episode last year. I said, I just assume all Brewer fans are in Wisconsin and there's no international or even countrywide here in the United States Brewer fans. I just assume like all the Brewer fans are from Wisconsin. And there's no Brewer fans elsewhere. And sure enough, I started hearing from all these people, Brewer fans in New York, Texas, not even guys who are transplants, just people who like the Milwaukee Brewers. And when I say transplants, people from Wisconsin who moved to warmer weather. I heard from people in Nevada. I heard from a guy in Nevada. I don't know if he's betting on the team or what, but he said he's been a Brewer fan since he was 5 years old. How are you a Brewer fan since you were 5 years old? The Brewers are never on national TV, but he is. Said he always liked the uniform. He always liked the Brewer logo, the glove logo. I've always loved the Brewer logo as well. Created back in 1978. That's going to do it. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Good night, everybody, and good morning. We'll see you at the ballpark.